If you know a college student, do me a favor and check in with them today. Like, really check in with them. Ask them, how are you doing? Show interest in their life and their experiences. Help them identify ways to manage stress or encourage them to seek counseling. If possible, invite them to your home so you can lay eyes on them. Let them know they are cared for, loved, and that you are thinking about them and that you are only a phone call away if they need you. These students may think they're grown, but they still need you in their village. A gently edited passage written by J. Rain. She has a Master of Science degree in forensic psychology, and she is a licensed counselor. I'm Stephen Middleton, coming to you from the Possibility Action Network. Our core values include I am, I can, and I will. I am Possibility Man. Today, I want to share on the theme, this medicinal moment, the utility of objectivity. Now I want to remind you, if you have not gone over to YouTube and subscribed to our YouTube channel, do so today and pass the word to someone else who may be interested in the kind of information that we will share. Now back to today's topic, this medicinal moment, the utility of objectivity. J. Rain, the passage that I read from her a moment ago, started me thinking. She posted this passage on YouTube a few days ago. Now, there's one thing I know about J. Rain. She knows young people and the things that young people may be dealing with today. She has been working with young people in a therapeutic setting for over 10 years. During the first part of her career, she worked with younger individuals from, let's say, roughly 12 years old to approximately 18 years of age. Today, J. Rain is working with college students, primarily college students from around the United States. So when she tells us to check in with anyone we know in college and to support those individuals, J. Rain is speaking from her experience in working with those young people. And what she has noticed is that many of these young people, even though, they're 18 and above, may think that they are grown, she notices in her practice that many of these individuals are, like many of us, generally are suffering from stress and distress. What she has noticed is that many of these individuals have suffered from stress for so long that their stress has devolved into depression, into panic attacks, into compulsive eating disorders, and into all kinds of other maladies that the medical community would list as an emotional diagnosis. What I want to say here is that J. Rain talks to students from around the country, which means that she captures students from various backgrounds, various classes, no matter whether they come from a rich background, an upper middle class background, or one of the lower classes. So when she says that our students are faced with challenges, she knows what she is talking about. I spend a lot of time on social media and the internet. And what I'm discovering more and more, especially since COVID, that there are professionals from around the world who are offering coaching sessions, classes on social media, trying to encourage individuals, trying to support them in the many challenges that they may face in their professions and the like. And that had me thinking, what can I offer to be supportive of people who may be going through something today? Now, you may not be one of those individuals, and I'm cool with that, but trust and believe, as one of my friends likes to say, that someone you know has their back up against the wall. And if you know someone like that, I hope that you'll pass on this information to them. So J. Rain then identified the problem. The problem is stress. The problem is chronic stress, as one doctor put it, Dr. William Pettit, who was a surgeon, and also he switched over to psychiatry. From his experience, he said, many individuals suffer from chronic stress. Therefore, the backache that you may experience from time to time, for whatever reason, your back might just be hurting, which may be a sign of stress. You know, many individuals are suffering from high blood pressure, from hypertension. Now, I know what we do. We go to the doctor checks our blood pressure, the doctor freaks out because our blood pressure is high, and you know what the doctor does? Gives us a prescription. If the prescription does not bring down our blood pressure, the doctor may give us another prescription, because that's what doctors do. And all of a sudden, we are on the prescription treadmill. We do the same with our children, our young people. Look, let's face it. If you don't know a child who is on some antidepressant today, just ask around. You know, the child may be acting up in class for various reasons. And what the teacher does, sends the child to a nurse. The nurse sends the child to a doctor. And before long, the child is also on the prescription medication. I think that there's a better way. And this is why I'm talking about this medicinal moment. So what are some things then that we can do? Firstly, recognize that you are equipped with everything that you need now to live a happy and fulfilled life. Now, that is not to say that bodies do not become sick and that we may not need support. I am not saying that at all. But what I am saying, though, is that I want you to start from the place that you are equipped now to live the type of life that you desire. This is how a human being is made. Now, something can get in the way. Life experience can get in the way. Something can blow us, of course, and we can begin to think that we are not enough when actually we are enough. You know, earlier today, I was listening to a webinar put on by Dominique Scafidi, who is a Canadian, and Grace Kelly, who lives in Italy, I believe. And in that webinar, Grace Kelly reminded us that our minds, that what's in your head, can be like a drunken man or woman. And she asked the question, would you go to a drunken man or would you go to a drunken woman to ask for advice? The answer is probably no. But when you try to find a solution to your problem, out of your despair, it's like going to a drunken man or a drunken woman. But I want to offer a couple of things today which may help steady you right now, in this very second, if you were to take me up on it. I read about another psychiatrist whose name was Dr. Abraham Lowe. He practiced medicine in the United States in the early 20th century. Dr. Lowe was a pioneer in the self-help movement, and he established a group that today I believe that is known as recovery. Now, it's not recovery from alcohol per se. It's about recovery individuals who have suffered from a mental condition. And one of the things that Dr. Lowe taught his students was about objectivity, doing something that's objective. And he said that objectivity would terminate a panic. Objectivity may pull someone out of a depression. Objectivity may switch someone to something else. I was reminded of this technique, this approach to handling what may be bothering a person by a teacher named Cindy Stevens. I've mentioned her before on these lives. And Cindy Stevens then, she doesn't call it objectivity, but she offers a couple of techniques that I am labeling as objectivity. Number one, she calls it come back to your senses. Now, how can you come back to your senses? How can a person who may be feeling a sense of despair, how can one of the students that Jay Rain talks about, who's feeling a sense of depression and hopelessness and helplessness, come back to their senses? Well, they need to come back to their senses because if they're feeling all of those emotions, they're not in their right mind. Something has drawn them away from their true nature, but they can come back to their senses. Here's what Cindy Stevens said. Firstly, she said, stop for a moment and feel your feet on the ground. Let's do it together. Feel your feet on the ground now. Then she says, use your peripheral vision. Look to the left with your peripheral vision. Look to the right with your peripheral vision. And then she says, feel the top of your head. Just feel the sensation running to your head. Feel, if you're sitting down, feel your bum in the chair that you're sitting in. Go ahead, feel your bum right now. And as you do this, you may find yourself switching your emotions from one of despair because you're doing something objective. Cindy Stevens also recommends this, that you get a bottle and that you put a label on the bottle. Your drinking water could be any type of drinking bottle that you use, and write on the bottle senses. And each time you take a sip from your bottle, look at the word senses, which may be a reminder that you can do the exercise all over again. Feel your feet on the floor. Use your peripheral vision. Looking to the left and also to the right. Feel the top of your head. Feel your bum in your seat. You're doing something that's objective. And as that Dr. Lowe says, objectivity will draw you out of the despair that you may be feeling right now. Cindy Stevens offered another experiment. Now, she did not label it once again as objectivity, but I'm labeling it as something objective that anyone can do right now. Here it is. Get an ice cube. Feel it in your hand. Grab it in your hand. What do you feel? You may feel the hard surface of the ice cube. You may feel the temperature of the ice cube. You may find that the ice cube is dissolving in your hand. And the longer you hold this ice cube, it will dissolve, as you continue to hold it from the warmth in your hand and from the ice cube not being in the refrigerator, in the freezer. This is objective, is what I'm saying. And as Dr. Lowe said, objectivity will pull you out of your panic, out of your despair. A second way to pull yourself together back into your right mind, as Dominique Scafidi and Grace Kelly said today, is understanding who you are. Now, this may sound a little woo-woo to you, but stay with me for just a moment here. Understanding who you are means understanding your true nature. Now, I know, we're all taught that we are a person, that I'm me, that I am this separate individual that's separate from the all, and that I'm separate from you. And look at the mess that has got us in. If you live in the United States, look at the mess that's in Congress today, in our federal government, because people think that they are separate from each other. But Scafidi and Kelly says, understanding your true nature will also bring you back to your senses. Now, who are you? Who are you then? Let me ask yourself, are you breathing yourself right now? Answer me, Yes or no. Put it in the text wherever you see, wherever you watch this video. Are you breathing yourself right now? Yes or no? Answer this question for me. Are you doing the seeing right now? Yes or no? If you are hearing this today, or whenever you hear this, are you doing the hearing right now? Yes or no? If you cut your finger and you notice it beginning to heal, are you doing the healing in your body? Yes or no? Well, if you are not the one doing it, perhaps the one that you see in the mirror is not really your true self. Here is the third thing that I want you to practice. I'm going to give you your number one job. Your number one job is to feel good without anything intoxicating, without any substance of any kind. Your job is just to feel good. The gooder you feel, the closer you are to your true nature. It never fails. The worse you feel, it seems like you're separate from your true nature, but in reality, you can't be separate from who you are. That's not a possibility, but the brain will make you feel that you're separate. So here is the exercise again. Practice feeling good. The more you allow yourself to feel good, the closer you are to your true nature. The closer you are, if you want to say it this way, to your God. If you want to be like a New Age person, the closer you are to your source. The closer you are to the energy of all things. Feel good, the closer you are to who you are. Feel bad, you only think that you're separate from what you are, but you can never be separate. I grew up in a Christian background. So I hope you don't mind me sharing this with you today. The Apostle Paul, one of the individuals that I like, and I'll tell you why I like him maybe at another time, is probably not what you think, but the Apostle Paul then, as he considered his connection to his Savior, he raised a rhetorical question. He said, what can separate me from the one whom I believe in? Then he began to list a few things. He said, well, shall tribulation do it? Shall persecution do it? Shall distress do it? And he goes down a long list of things, asking himself, what can separate me from who I am? And then he answered his own rhetorical question. He said, no, none of those things can separate me from who I am. And that's what I'm reminding myself of daily. I describe myself as possibility man. And someone said to me once, well, look, do you leap tall buildings, in a single bout? Can you wave your hand and the fish come out of the lake? Of course not. You have to ask yourself, who would brand himself possibility man? Who would establish the Possibility Action Network? Only someone who has to believe in possibility. Only someone who has faced adversity. Only someone who has gained the vision that yes, it's possible. And that's what I believe Jay Rain would say. If she were here with me now, she would say, remind those young people about their possibility. College students are the ones that she identified. College students aren't always encouraged. They're given their lessons, they're given their tests, and college students are sometimes pressed to the wall. Teachers of college students are not always encouraging, especially at big schools. You can be in college, I was once a college student, and feel that you're just incompetent. I was one of those students. You can be in college and feel that you lack certain skills. I was one of those students. You can be in college and feel that you can't express yourself well. I was one of those students. You can be in college and believe I am not a good writer. Maybe I'll never become a good writer. I was one of those students. But those beliefs came from the drunken person, the drunken man in my head. The last thing that I want to leave you with is this. I want to answer the question, at least for myself, why am I on social media? Why do I have a YouTube channel? Why have I started a podcast? Why am I looking to the Possibility Action Network Hour? Why do I talk about emotional wellness? Why do I talk about physical health? Why do I talk about financial fitness? I believe that this is what I am to do at this stage of life. You know, the American writer Jack London said this, and I want to read this to you as I close. The proper function of man, and of course, I'm sure he would say mankind, is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days in trying to prolong them. I shall use my time. And as I sit here in the United States, in the beautiful state of South Carolina, I know that there are so many people around the world who believe that it's not possible for them. When we live at the richest, and I don't mean rich simply financially, time ever in history. No one in history has lived better than we live now. But the drunken man or woman in our head will tell us that we aren't. I want to say here, it's possible. And I hope that you would use the tools that I've shared with you today. My name is Stephen Middleton. I'm with the Possibility Action Network. Our core values include I am, I can, and I will. I am Possibility Man. Until next time, good day